Well, it hasn't taken long for the blame game to start. The blame game. Whose fault was it that we saw these terrible scenes last night at Citywest Hotel in Thuggery in Dublin? Well, most people have been following the story there for the last few days. We know why people congregated outside that hotel to protest about who was staying inside it and the wickedness, the heinous acts that they perpetrated on a girl in the grounds of that hotel. We know about that. We know the locals are not happy. We know that they tried to petition and plead with the government not to let this asylum hub, asylum camp, call it whatever you want, proceed on their back doors in the grounds of the biggest hotel in Ireland. But the government didn't listen. They paid them no attention whatsoever. The warnings were ignored. Their pleas went on deaf ears. And last night, well, we all saw what transpired in Citywest. And if you don't know what happened or you're curious, go back and check the last few videos that I have uploaded. We saw a rattled Jim O'Callaghan last night, the so-called Justice Minister, a rattled Justice Minister, puffing and blowing about how the Gardaí would meet with extreme force those who were doing what they were doing. And now we have a statement that's put out here today, and I'm going to show you a couple of video clips. The gaslighting's off the scale. Gardaí blame online agitators for organised thuggery, they call it, at Citywest accommodation. So whose fault is it? Online agitators, not the hundreds and thousands of people that live in the area, not the men, women and children, elderly, those in wheelchairs, those that were unable to walk even, that came out to protest last night. It wasn't them acting on their own volition. It wasn't them acting out of their own concern. Of course it wasn't. It was the fault of online agitators. Of course it was. Blame everyone except yourselves. That's the modus operandi of the Irish government. Well, more and more people are seeing through their nonsense and their feeble attempts now at gaslighting. Even to the extent that Jim O'Callaghan has came out today, or he made the statement last night, that he said the Thuggery area, there's no more need for concern. The person that committed a heinous act on a girl is now facing the law. So there's nothing more to worry about. And there is absolutely no connection between immigration into that area and crime. There's no connection whatsoever, despite the fact that 170 incidents have been logged in the first half of this year in that place alone. But there's no correlation. There's not. Jim O'Callaghan says it. It must be true. So we're going to hear a little mainstream media take on things, because I want you to hear what they're saying. I want you to hear what O'Callaghan says, and I want you to hear what the rat Mayhole Martin has crawled out from under his rock and spouted today, and he's looking rattled as well. So let's hear what these people have to say. Here's the report here. Headline: Gardaí blaming online agitators for organised thuggery. Yeah, okay.
Thuggery and an attempt to intimidate and injure. That's how Gardaí described the riots in Citywest in Dublin yesterday. A Garda van was set alight, while fireworks, bricks and glass bottles were thrown at members of the force. It was the second night of protest at the iPAS Centre in Citywest, after a man appeared in court charged with the sexual assault of a girl 2 days ago. A number of people were arrested over the unrest last night. The Taoiseach and Justice Minister have both condemned the violence, with Minister Jim O'Callaghan describing it as unacceptable.
Amazing that, isn't it, too? The way that one vehicle, that one Gardaí van, was just left parked up at the side of the road, completely unmanned, no members of the Gardaí anywhere near it. And it just so happened to be the only vehicle that went up in smoke. Thankfully, there was just one.
I want the people involved in that violence to know that they will be met with a very forceful response from An Garda Síochána on our criminal justice system.
What's he talking about? Is he talking about the people that perpetrate the attack on the child, or is he talking about the people that turned up last night to express their concerns. Which people is he talking about?
People went to Citywest this evening for the purpose of weaponising a criminal event that happened yesterday. The Gardaí should be praised for the fact that they have an individual for the courts in respect of that alleged criminal offence.
There should never have been anyone before the courts, because the person should never have been allowed to enter Ireland, the person should never have been allowed to remain in Ireland, and the person should have been deported in March of this year. The perpetrator should never have been here, should never have been allowed to remain here, and should have been deported over 6 months ago. Failure after failure after failure after failure after failure, abject failures from this shower calling themselves a government, a cabal.
Water cannons were deployed to the scene, but they weren't used while a Garda helicopter was overhead. Gardaí say a female member of the force was treated for a foot injury. Officers from Kildare, Laois and Waterford travelled to the capital to support the policing operation.
And Garda Síochána had a policing operation in place for this public gathering organised by disparate groups on social media.
Michael McNulty, reading off his auto-cued statement,
Who stir up hatred and violence and encourage and entice others to get involved.
The public order unit eventually dispersed the crowds when they charged forward. This morning, the remnants from the night before were removed from the scene, but it's far from being put to bed. And Gardaí say they'll now begin the process of identifying those who committed crimes and bringing them to justice. Hannah Murphy, Virgin Media News.
There you go. They're going to start bringing people to justice. That's wonderful. That's great news. Let me be clear. Of course, with any group of any size in a situation like that, you're going to have people that are going there simply to cause trouble, simply to agitate. You will. It'll happen no matter what size the group. Well, bigger groups, of course, will attract more people. But the vast majority of people that were there last night, were there peacefully, were residents of Dublin, are deeply concerned for their children's safety, and the fact that they've been fobbed off, demonized, vilified, and smeared by the media and the government for years now. And now we're seeing the results. And those same people were sprayed and beaten last night, as you can see from the video that was recorded earlier, with evidence that media outlets, at least three, were attacked and pepper sprayed by Garda Síochána last night. There's video evidence. I'm not just making this up. Go and watch the video from earlier on. So now we'll hear from Mayhole as he stands awkwardly, shamedly addressing the Dáil today about the incidents last night.
To thank Garda Síochána for their bravery, courage and professionalism in dealing with a very, very serious and grave situation last evening, where, as you correctly say, innocent people were threatened.
Innocent people were threatened. Is he talking about that little girl again? Or who's he talking about? In
terms of their own safety and security, and particularly children,
children.
As well.
He cares for children now, folks. That's fantastic. Look at how unconvincing he is. Look at his slumped shoulders and his brow like this, and he looks like he's been sucking lemon sherbet.
And also the surrounding neighbourhoods where walls were apparently damaged and for people to get missiles.
Walls were apparently damaged to get missiles. Like he gives a damn about the neighbourhood. I tell you one thing that won't be happening anytime soon. It won't be happening in his neighbourhood. It won't be happening in O'Callaghan's neighbourhood. It won't be happening in McEntay's neighbourhood. It won't be happening in Harris's neighbourhood. It won't be happening in Mary Lou's neighbourhood. I'll tell you that much.
To throw against the Gardaí. The Gardaí come from our community.
Really?
They're there to protect us all.
Are they? Are they?
And it beggars belief that these people would articulate such vile abuse of members of Garda Síochána would then attack them in a very serious way, which could cause injury and damage if they didn't have their protective clothing. And it needs to be dealt with robustly. And we're very clear, and the Minister for Justice is very...
What needs to be dealt with robustly? The open borders? Unvetted people flooding into the country, contributing absolutely nothing? At least 2 have been up in court this week on heinous crimes, and they don't speak English. We don't know who they are, where they're from. Well, we know where they're allegedly from, but that's it. So what needs to be dealt with robustly? The government's illegal immigration acceptance?
Very clear that we are in total solidarity with Garda Síochána, and also that our criminal justice system needs to hold the people responsible for last evening to account. And we wish the female Garda who was injured the very best.
Yeah, the female Garda, she's got a sore foot. I hope she recovers. Hope she makes a full recovery. What about that girl? Will she recover so quickly? That was failed by the government. Now we're going to get a little bolt on at the end when he talks about how they did fail. And he almost chokes when he says it.
It was a very, very difficult situation that those young Gardaí faced last evening. They should not have to face that. And also, it's a matter of genuine and sincere concern that in terms of the...
He can't even look up. Can't even look up. Look at him stirring forward and down. Can't even stand up like a man. Put his shoulders back and look at who he's talking to. He's a weasel.
Alleged assault.
He's almost choking getting this one out.
On a 10-year-old girl, but the whole circumstances surrounding that is a matter of deep concern.
No, it's not. Not for you, it's not. Not for you, it's not. You only have to say that to cover your own miserable hide, Martin.
Are with that 10-year-old young child.
No, they're not.
And the family and so on. And our job in the state is to protect that child, to support that child.
No, you didn't.
That child, in my observations, was not protected.
Correct.
By the state.
So what, you're going to stay there? You're going to stay in your position? You're going to let Tusla remain intact? Going to let O'Callaghan keep his job? Of course you are. This is what he said. O'Callaghan said there's no ongoing threat to public safety in Saggart in relation to the alleged assault, and no correlation exists between crime levels and the presence of asylum seeker accommodation centres. Well, there you have it. We've got nothing to worry about, folks. Nothing. Jim O'Callaghan said it, so it must be true. I despair, I really do. And I've seen footage today. Huge amount of money being spent putting barriers and barricades up around the entrance in the periphery to Citywest. Huge amounts of money being spent. If you're going to barricade the place, it should be to keep people in it, not to let people get into it. But anyway, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Leave me your thoughts and comments below. Do the normal. Do the usual. You do the necessary. I'll do the obvious. Cut and paste the link. Drop it into your groups, WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, whatever groups. Share it out there. Send it to people you love. Send it to people you hate. Ruin their day. Send them one of my videos. Wreck their day. Ruin it. Good and proper. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you haven't, if you're just a casual watcher, hit the subscribe button. Because believe it or not, about 60% of the people that watch these videos aren't even subscribed to the channel, but they keep coming back. Just take the plunge, folks. Take the plunge. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell button. Hit the notification button. Come on. It's not difficult. Beep, beep, beep. You're probably poking little buttons all day on your screen, so poke that subscribe button. For now, I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media. Over and out.